Hello, hello, everyone. This is Cassandra Williamson from LA. That means Lower Alabama, if you don't know. We couldn't tell by the accent. It's a nice day here in LA, Lower Alabama, and I'm just enjoying this. Got a lot of things we need to talk about today. There's some news items that have come out and have been absolutely very interesting. Some other opinion pieces I've looked at and reviewed this morning that have been absolutely fascinating, to say the least. If you'll notice the disclaimer across the bottom of the screen down there, please, 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 if you are under 18 years of age, leave this program now. Flat out, period. You don't belong here. Go find someplace else to hang out. Also, the opinions and views expressed here are solely my own and not those of any organization or anything like that. It's made organization or other persons or even agencies, departments, or the federal government or the military, anything. They're mine only, period. Just to be clear. And this is from the action group side of our organization. And definitely there's a lot to talk about. And as you may notice, I've kind of changed my camera angle a little bit. This is a different camera now. This is actually from my iPhone and is running through my computer over here to show up on the screen. You can't see it. It's over there. Hopefully you got the reflection out of my glasses so I can actually see what I'm doing. But occasionally I'm going to turn around and look over here to the monitor. And I've got to figure out a way to do that better. I'm still manipulating things around to make it all work, okay? So just bear with me as I look around and check out comments or anything like that that may appear over on the sidebar. We've got a lot to talk about today. But first, let me pour my drink. And this is not a Bud Light. No alcohol on this show, okay? No alcohol on this show. No smoking on this show. No anti-Semitism on this show. No racism on this show. What else can we say about what we say that we don't want part of? And I've kind of got something I want to show you in just a second about all that too. But the news for the day, obviously, there's two things. One is Representative Scalise was nominated by the Republican side in the U.S. House of Representatives to be their nominee for Speaker of the House. And it has to go out on the floor for full vote and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's taken place yet. I don't know if that vote has occurred. I haven't gotten any kind of notification that it has. Don't know. It may have. Who knows? I could turn on C-SPAN and watch that and check it out to see. I probably will here shortly. But anyway, so yeah. But then I think Hakeem Jeffries, I get the name backwards. Anyway, it's Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, is also a nominee for Speaker. So both parties have their nominee for Speaker of the House, and then the one with the majority typically wins that spot. However, these days are not at all normal. There's nothing, we've never seen anything like this in the history of the United States. For one, where we have a Speaker of the House actually removed from office first with Kevin McCarthy. And so here we are in new territory. So much for tradition, right? I'm not quite sure where tradition stands on this one. I think Kevin McCarthy just created a new standard. If you don't like what we're talking about or don't like what we're saying, or if you don't want to stand up on your word and just do what you said you're going to do, then you get kicked out. That's the way it goes, right? It's a little bit chilly down here in Alabama, or it was. I mean, if it's below 70, it gets to be a little chilly. It was this morning. I don't know that it is right now. I was looking for my phone, but it's the camera. It's the camera. My phone is the camera I'm using over here. So anyway, if anyone shows up, wants to talk, chat, or whatever, please let me know. You can stick your hand in the air, say hi in the comment block, or whatever you want to do, and I'll go take a look at it and just see what you're saying and thinking and what you would like to talk about. And I may slide my monitor over here so I'm a little bit closer, but I don't want that reflection in my glasses because, I still have to be able to hear. And yesterday, I finally got one of my hearing aids replaced out at the VA. I'd lost it. I guess I lost it down in Florida when I was down there for the Out and Equal conference or workplace summit with Uber. They had invited me down and taken care of everything and all that. And they're Uber has been a phenomenal friend of ours. If anyone watches out here, just whatever, Uber has been fantastic and has really gone out of their way, not just to be an ally, but to be a collaborator with us, to actually grab us by the hand and say, come on, we're going here. We need you to come with us. That's the difference between an ally and people who are, there's another word. I keep forgetting the other word that describes that. Somebody told me down in Orlando at Out and Equal, they said, it's the 3 A's, but I can't remember the A. The 3 A's, one of them's ally and one of them's something else. And oh my gosh, I've got it just on the tip of my tongue. I know this word is here somewhere in my head. What's another word for collaborator that's a little bit stronger than that? Somebody put it over there in the comments. Let me know. I'm making sure we're live. And this show, by the way, is being broadcast live on Facebook on 2 different channels, one my private one and over on the TDVA Facebook page, as well as on LinkedIn, YouTube, 2 channels on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and who else? I think that's it, as well as on our websites. You can find it on our website too. Go to the tdva.com website, tdva-ag.com website. This one, let me pull this thing up here just to show you so that you know what I'm talking about. It's that one. Go there to that website. You can actually watch this live from there too. Share the word. That's the biggest ask that I've got for anyone out here. If you're watching these shows and you kind of connect with some of the stuff that I talk about, then tell other people about it. Just tell them to go check this out. You need to listen to this. I mean, if you don't really connect, if you don't connect with what it is that I'm talking about, but you just want to be an asshole about it, you want to come in and talk, you want to come in and say something about what I'm saying, or to refute what I'm saying, or even to challenge me in my thinking on this, come on, let's have it. Let's do it. I'm not going to shut down your conversation, but if your conversation takes you in a path that leads you to, I don't know, anti-Semitism or racial bias and bigotry, any kind of hatred for others because they don't look like you, I mean, you can come in and talk if you want, but we are not going to have a conversation about that. I mean, those things are, those are just wrong. Morally and ethically wrong. I mean, if you're clinging to some kind of anti-Semitism, or if you're clinging to some type of racial divides, or you're wanting to split the country up into sections and groups because, you want Indians over there and the poor people in Appalachia up here, and then all the African Americans in another part of the country. And that's just stupid. That's to put it bluntly. I mean, that's just the height of moral. You really have fallen in a ditch there, and I don't know how to pull you back out. I can throw all the life preservers I want to help you get back out of that crowd, out of that group, out of that echo chamber that is that is feeding that stuff to you. I don't know how to do it, but you're entitled to those opinions. And as a veteran, as an American, we served so that you can have all those opinions. You just can't enforce it on others. It would defend the right for you to say whatever you want, to be whatever you want, to live as you wish. Those are your choices. That's our rights under the U.S. Constitution. And, we serve for that. We serve to protect the Constitution, protect and defend the Constitution. Right? Well, there's somebody out there who said a news thing this morning that showed up in the news this morning that I thought was really hilarious. Okay. And it was from President Trump. And one of his lawyers had filed a case saying that it doesn't say anywhere in the pledge or the oath of office that you support the Constitution. The word support may not be used in that directly. I think, what is it? Protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. But it doesn't say support. Well, those words kind of mean that. That's like kind of splitting the word over the how to define the word is. And many of you, if you're my age or older, you probably know exactly what I'm referring to. I'm not going to elaborate for you. But anyway, so a new position for the camera. We've got a lot of stuff happening today in the news, and you may see me turn over here on one of my other things that would let me switch cameras, and I don't know how to switch the camera on this one easily. Let me see if I can go down here and try to switch cameras, because I need to look at the screen for just a second. And I don't know why it's jittery like that. It's kind of shaky. Are you seeing that too? I'm not. I don't know. Anyway, so here we are. Let me see what we can do. I'm going to go to settings, and let me see if I can go to camera, and I'm going to switch my camera to the Logic camera, that one. Ta-da! There we are. All right, now that way I can look at the screen in front of me here. And this is my office space in the back, and a little day bed over here on the side, and makeup section back in the back, and a plant beside the window. A couple of flags and stuff like that in the background. There are no pictures of things, anything on the wall yet. I do have some things I want to put up there, such as the Declaration of Independence. I've got a copy of that I want on the wall. I also have a print that was given to me last year by the historian at the Naval Academy. That's a big print of Bancroft Hall and the Naval Academy grounds and the campus there. It was given to me. One was given to me, and the other one was given to my friend Paula Nera. So, when we were there, they allowed us to, to tour the upper areas of the Naval Academy Museum. So it was really fascinating. I've got that big print that I want to put up. It's still rolled up in a box, and I think it's in that closet back there. But anyway, so welcome to the show today. If you haven't seen that, you read the disclaimer across the bottom of the screen. Please, please, please know that is there. You are more than welcome to leave if you're under 18. Please do. I'll say that repeatedly. But the one thing we will not do is shut down someone else's thoughts and ideas. However, if it runs afoul of these qualifications, one, if it's anti-Semitic, don't bother. If it's racist, don't bother. If it's phobic of any kind, and a lot of those terms gets tossed out there, and people like or dislike them, however, on all kinds of sides and all the way around. But I mean, if you have a dislike for somebody because they don't look like, act like, believe like you, then guess what? We will have a problem. That's all there is to it. You can believe it, and I will defend your right to do that, to believe that. But there will be pushback from me about it, because that is the wrong-headed thinking. Just flat out wrong-headed thinking. The thing I really respect about people is some people is their self-awareness. They're self-aware of who they are. They have this kind of a sense that they know who they are. They don't care to tell people. They've thought about it enough to know that, hey, this is my ideology actually lines up in this way. And, might as well claim the name. That's what you are, right? Don't be afraid of the label associated with your ideological beliefs. I'll defend you in any way possible to make sure that you can claim those things as your own. But the moment it starts threatening the lives of others, then we're going to have some conversations. It's that plain. It's that simple, really. It really is just that simple. Anyway, I've got a few things in the background I wanted to kind of share. And let me see if I can find my little present screen here. I want to share screen. I've got the one I'm on now. Let's go over to window. The anatomy of a smear. I found that to be really fascinating. Let me see. Got this one. That's the danger of political correctness. Oh my God, this is interesting. Let me just start right there. Okay, here we go. This is from BNN Breaking News. I don't even know who the heck they are. They just have a few people, but that's Ben Shapiro, if you know who that is on the screen. All right. He actually says something that makes sense in that first paragraph. The people who are reluctant to call terrorists by their true name, I mean, I don't get it. Let's go ahead and just call them what they are, okay? I agree with Ben on this one. Ben Shapiro is right there. If you're afraid to label something as exactly what it truly is, then by not doing that, you're taking away from the dangers that's posed by them. For instance, Hamas is a terrorist organization. Yes, they run Gaza Strip and the Palestinian area. And many people in Hamas are Palestinian. However, Palestinian people are not the problem. There are 2.3 million people there in Gaza, and they're not all Hamas. So you can't really take that label and apply the terrorist organization Hamas ideology to the whole of the Palestinian people. That is wrong. That's wrong. But to refuse to label them as a terrorist, now that's something else entirely too, because we know that they are. You can't don't just call them gunmen. Don't just call them, they're pushing back against the oppression that has occurred over there. Bullshit. They have wanted the erasure and deletion of Israel for generations. It has nothing to do with being oppressed. They just happen to be using the Palestinian people to further their particular view of Islam. And it's a terrorist vision. Not all Muslims are like these people. Don't ever go down that road to say that. There are some really fantastic, amazing Muslim people whom I know, and you know, who are good people. They're not terrorists, but Hamas is. And they have one goal, and they've had this goal for generations, for 1,000 years. And yet there are some out there who says, don't call Hamas a terrorist. Well, there certainly aren't just gunmen. No, it's a very organized ideological failing. And for anyone not to even say that they're a terrorist, I mean, that just blows me out of the water. So Shapiro is right on that one. And further down through here, power of words. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you now, there's some things that Ben says that the power of words is kind of hypocritical because they're using the power of words to actually go after people like me and other people who they disagree with in the country. They're trying to, I'll show you in a minute what's going on with that. Trying to shape a narrative where they can think of, it says less than human. Now, the people who are in Hamas itself, ideologically, it's a terrorist group. And you can't defend that behavior where they go out and just want to destroy something because, they think they'll get brownie points with God. That's basically what it is. They feel like they have been told to go destroy Israel. And they get brownie points from God as a result. No, that's just, you've gone way over there and fell head first into this ditch, okay? Not just fell in, but you've been in there for generations and you keep saying the same thing over. That's just a terrorist organization. That's all it is. But that applies to the Christian extremists as well, by the way. Don't let me just come out here and say that this is just one-sided thing, that it's only the Islamic terrorist. It's not the case. You find them in every culture, in every religion. They're extremists in all of them. They seem to think they are the only right ones. And if they can persuade you that those who don't think like, look like, believe like them are not human enough to be them or to be like them or unreal or unnatural, if you can lump all that stuff together, then guess what happens? You can kill them without any kind of remorse. You can attack them and remove them from the public square because, they aren't necessarily real people. They're just, they're less than. They don't have the same personhood that you do or that your corporation does, which, back to First Amendment protections, corporations have protection because they have personhood, but some are claiming that we don't have personhood and therefore we aren't protected by the First Amendment. And if you don't think that's something that hasn't been said, oh my God, you really need to go check some stuff out because that's what's going on. They aren't kidding. So anyway, I'm not going to read down through this whole darn thing. There's some stuff that Ben says that's just, as hypocritical as you can possibly get. You say one thing at the top and then something else down here at the bottom. You're not logically consistent, Ben. Not logically consistent. And I do, there's one person who I've discovered that has recognized who they are and is self-aware enough to say that, and that would be Matt Walsh, who over on Twitter actually calls himself a theocratic fascist. And that's exactly what his ideology is. And he's willing to tell you that that's what he is. And that's what he believes. There are others out here, though, who just don't have the kahunas to go out and actually say, if I look down through all the things that I actually believe in, then I'm actually they are, not me, a theocratic fascist. And we see that a lot. People refusing to use the certain words and labels that Shapiro says should be used to identify who we really are and what we really believe, okay? And that's what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. All those people over there and all those organizations, well-funded, deep-pocketed organizations that are out to remove transgender people from the whole of this nation and shove them back under the rug into the bottom of the closet, not standing in it. That's what they're trying to do. They have a plan. They're orchestrated. That's a very detailed and very specific plan. This is not a joke to them, folks. Not a joke. They will do that. However, the problem is they are unwilling to call themselves what they really are. Hypocrites, in other words. Because everything that I see over there, they meet every characteristic. I mean, this is not me. All you have to do is go look at what Lawrence Britt wrote in 2003 about the 14 characteristics of fascism. Walsh knows he fits into all of those as a theocratic fascist. But Ben is being hypocritical and not acknowledging that's what he actually is too. And so is the Heritage Foundation and Kevin Roberts and others over there. I call them out by name. I mean, if you don't like that, fine. Go find something else to watch, because right now they're a threat to our existence. Really, their views are nothing more than theocratic fascism. Don't believe it? Just go start doing a little digging, and don't be afraid to call them what they are. And this is where Ben is right. Ben Shapiro. Identify them who they are and as they are and what they really believe, and then point that out, and don't run and call them, oh, they're just misguided. No, they're very deliberate. There's nothing misguided. They are very well on their way to accomplishing what they want to do. They really are. I need to stop sharing this screen now. Let me see. I don't know if I stay on the page. I don't know if you can see that one. I switched over to Christian nationalists are trying to take over our government. Really? Yeah. See, that's Christian nationalism and Christian nationalists. You know the other word for that? Theocratic fascism. They might as well just call themselves fascist, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. That's what this is. It would have been the same thing if it had been Buddhist nationalist. Same thing. Still fascist. It doesn't matter what label you stick in front of this, the nationalist part. It's still theocratic fascism. Matches every single characteristic to a T. Dots every I and crosses every T and fits right in, okay? And start calling them what they are. They don't want you to use those. You know why they don't want you to use those words? And Matt's self-aware enough not to even let it bother him anymore, because he knows that's who he is. But you know why they don't want to use that word to call themselves theocratic fascist? Because there's some baggage associated with fascism that roughly equates it to Nazism. There are slight differences, but not much. Oh my God. They don't want to have that kind of negative imagery associated with them when they finally acknowledge that they really are theocratic fascists. This Christian nationalism, that's what it is. If it were Islamic nationalists, that would be the same thing. They're still fascist, theocratic fascist. Same thing would apply if they were just, I don't know, Jewish nationalist, even. That would become the same kind of thing. If it's ultra-nationalism, it matches the characteristics or whatever your label you stick to the front of nationalists here in this thing, then you become a theocratic fascist or just a plain fascist. So, but they don't want us to use them. Like I said, Matt's self-aware enough to know that that's who he is, and he just tells you that he doesn't care what you think about it, because, he knows that's who he is. These others probably know it too, but they're afraid to mention it out loud. Anyway, so let me go with that. That's DeSantis, obviously. Y'all know about that one. Polarizing slavery curriculum. Geez, yes, my gosh, that's horrible. Okay, so that's over on Man and Home. Taking pages from Hitler's Nazi playbook. Yeah. All right, let's see. It says former president. Now this is from, let me be clear, this is raw story. Story written by Matt Chapman an hour ago here. I've got it. So former President Donald Trump's recent comments that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the United States. If you are so blind you can't see what he just did, oh my God, I just don't know. I don't know about it. You've got to start calling this what it is. That's the only way you're going to take control of it. That's the only way you stand a chance of even pushing back on it, because this gradual push towards violence that we're seeing all along this path for the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, 6 years. They're kind of helping people get used to the idea that the only thing you have to do is fight back with violence, that anyone who is not like us, they're poisoning the blood of the United States. There you go. That's Nazism. Don't like it? You don't like me to label things like that? You need to get off of that podium that you're on, or that dais that you're standing up on, because here is what's going on. You may be offended by some of the words and choices of way I describe things, but hey, look, the truth is truth. You either get on this and see that they're here to wipe us out because we are poisoning the blood. All right, let's go right on over. Business Insider article this morning, 2 hours ago, written by Charles R. Davis. Historians say Trump has been re-educating his followers to embrace violence, and that Matt Gaetz is doing the same thing. That's what I just said. All right. And here's this lady, Beth Ben Guyett, historian at NYU, accused Trump on Wednesday of encouraging violence, and is re-educating his followers and wanting them to see violence in a positive light. He's been doing that for a while. We've known that's who he is. He does that all the time. I don't even think, I think he just breathes and eats that, and been doing it since he was 12. That's just who he is. I don't care if you like that or not either, but that's who he is. And that's, he is grooming the people. He is grooming those who follow him to accept this positive light of violence, to make sure that they attain their goals or political goals. Okay. So here's what she says. I'll just read it. She's a historian expert on the far right in the United States and abroad. And like I said, I'm quoting this directly from this article from the Business Insider, written by Charles R. Davis. And this is what he wrote that she said. Ruth Ben Guyett, historian and expert on the far right in the United States and abroad, is convinced that former President Donald Trump and his MAGA movement are the real deal. A right-wing counter-revolution in the fascist tradition. Not my words, hers. Stop and think about that for just a minute. I've been saying it. Lots of other people have been saying it. People who know more than I do are saying it. It's time we get off of our little high horse and just call them what they are. They are theocratic fascists. That's what they are. Matt beat them to the punch. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Okay. At a summit in Manhattan hosted by the New Republic liberal magazine, obviously, Ben Guyett, who urged Trump's prosecution in an interview last year, likened the United States to Chile in the years before the 1973 coup d'etat saw a socialist president overthrown and replaced by a conservative military dictator. Chile had spent years discrediting democracy and built an appetite for authoritarian rule. Wow. guess what we have going on in this country today? Everybody out on the far right, all the extremists out there are saying democracy is bad, that our democratic republic, that democracy side of things is not really there. That's what they're saying. They're trying to denigrate the fact that we are a democratic republic. Okay. They're trying to just strip away the fact that that's what we actually are, so that they can do these things that they want to do down here to wipe out all of those who actually don't agree with them, or to at least subjugate them in such a way that they can't express themselves freely in their own country. Because, polluting the blood of the nation, that's where they're headed with this stuff. If you don't see it, you better catch on fast. Here it comes. And she says that he's been re-educating Americans since 2015. But no, I can tell you that he's been doing this for a long time. This is just not something that's recent or even 2015. And she's also correct in saying that he is a superb propagandist. That's exactly what it is. But let me just say something and back up quickly on that. All sides are capable of doing that. It's not just the far right. It's also the far left. And it's also anyone who might be tangential to that or perpendicular to that, somewhere else out there that if the extremes are all capable of using these kind of tactics to get their point across. It's wrong on both sides. It's wrong everywhere to say something like that, to do things like that, to try to manipulate and shape people's thinking. But psychological warfare 101, right? That's what we're experiencing, living it. But that's always, look, let me just say this too. That's always been the case, though, when one group of people are wanting to do something and they don't agree with another group of people. Well, the idea is if you dehumanize that other group or scapegoat them enough, or you take the time to build a propaganda up against them in such a way that all of your people start falling in line with your thinking on them, then you can replace them. That's the same stuff. You don't have to put a label at the beginning of it, as in conservatives or liberals or Whigs or Tories or Labor or anything like that. If that's your modus operandi, then you're using these tactics. That's been going on since one group of humans started living next to another group of humans. In other words, hundreds of thousands of years, really. But we've become really proficient at it today. We've turned it into a science. Okay, so let me go on. And I do want to say one more thing up here at the top, dangers of political correction. I got all of that, let's see. And then my favorite topic is my own senator down here in the state of Tuberville, state of Alabama. And, Senator Tuberville and his office and all the other senators up there in the Senate, you need to lift these holds so that we are not at jeopardy. And it plays right into the hands of all these terrorist groups like Hamas, as well as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, as well as Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad. And it also plays very conveniently into the hands and thinking and planning of Russia and China, how they're going to proceed forward. Yeah. Tuberville, you've got an awful lot of experience in the military, right? No. No, not at all. Jeez. Great coach down at Auburn. Great coach. But oh my gosh, you are out of your league, Senator. Way out of your league. I don't know how to describe it in terms of football terms. Like, I know the SEC is probably one of the biggest, but what other football leagues can you be a part of at the college level? Let me see. I don't know. But whichever one is least effective. Anyway, but good coach. My God, he's way out of his league here, talking about putting a hold on all of our leaders. But that's not all. There are other senators up there who have put a hold on ambassadorships. One in particular is the ambassador for Israel. And the senator doing that, you need to stop that too, lift that so that we can have somebody over there to be our ambassador to Israel. But you got a senator who put a hold on it because I don't know, for whatever reason. I just think that's asinine. But anyway, so let me stop sharing on this screen. Let me go back to where I was. I hope I can get there. Hold on a minute. Back. And there I am. I see 3 comments over there. I haven't checked them out yet. Give me a minute to take a look at them. So we've covered a lot of territory. Let me go back and see if there's something I need to actually present here that I haven't shared yet. Dun, 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 dun. Window. Anatomy of a smear. Oh, yeah. Let me do this one. This is from Christopher Rufo this morning. All right. Anatomy of a smear. Now, I read Christopher Rufo's stuff because I like to know what he's saying and doing. And I like to keep informed, because if you don't, you have your hand stuck in the sand. Really do. Not just the sand, but if you heard my stories the last couple of days about somebody going to hell, well, you know that you've been partying and all the glitzy stuff have got you captivated and breaks over. Got to stick your head back down in the sand. Well, anatomy of a smear. Now, this is what Chris is referring to. The Daily Beast last week ran a story that was called "The Influential Anti-Woke Activist is Open to Working with Racists and Fascists." Well, obviously, and they took it out of context. That was an inappropriate way to describe it. Absolutely. They were wrong to do that because that's not what he actually said. But so he went after them for that. And he was right in doing that. And, and he tries to take a stand to be fair in his way of describing the attacks against him and his attacks against others. But there is an intellectual disconnect somewhere in there, given that my response to this whole thing down through here. Let me go down to the bottom where the comments are located. And let me see. Go down here. Top. No, I want the new ones. New. Let's go to comments. Give me a second. I don't want the top first. I want the new in chronological order. Or just new first. Let's just do new first. That'll work. Right on, somebody says. All right, so I replied to this thing. I'll just read you how I put it. And then I'm going to see if there's any kind of reaction to this. So this was my response to Chris Rufo's article this morning. Interesting article, Chris. Here, let me blow this up so you can actually see it a little bit better, probably. Click. So you can see actually what I wrote. This is in response to Chris Rufo's article on the smear. All right. Interesting article, Chris. That's the kind of response I make every day on my shows too. That's about, and that being that you can't pick and choose how things are. You've got to, if you have an opposition to this side, then you have to be consistent about it. You got to go across the border and say that you can't have people spewing the wrong kind of crap out there about you that is not founded on any kind of reality, but that propaganda is a part of it and all that kind of thing. And that's what is really going on, that people are trying to shape a narrative. It happens on the left and the right, and it happens all over the place. And Chris is aware of that. I'm aware of that. We're all aware of that, right? So this is my response. Like you, I am not threatened by opposing views. However, and that should be if those views go against everything I believe is right, just, moral, and ethical, they are disavowed as soon as they are discovered. Extremism from either side is wrong. Racism, anti-Semitism, scapegoating of those unlike us, claims by either side that the other is un-American or anti-American, labeling our side as real people, implying the others aren't real, labeling one group of people as unnatural and thus not really human, guilt by association, dehumanizing other people and groups of people, and then claiming the First Amendment doesn't apply to them. These are all tactics of fascism. And I've talked about that. I admire the fact that Matt Walsh actually acknowledges he's a theocratic fascist. So I got 2 likes on that. I don't know who they are. Let's see if it doesn't show you. No. But anyway, so got 2 likes on that comment. But here's what they missed. If they actually read this and they know about this other organization called Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation statements, everything that I wrote up here in the top in this paragraph about extremism from either side is wrong. It's there. It's those things are in the forward to that project. So there we are. There we are. So I'm wondering who actually catches on to that because, it's there. That's what they said. If you don't believe it, go check it out. It is there. So I just wanted to not close, but I wanted to do that one. And then I'm going to drop this screen down to get back to here. And let me see if I can switch screen back to the other side now. So I get this glare out of my glasses and just let's see what the comments are. You were burning hell. Oh my God. Oh, I'm going to look at Popstar. Popstar, here we go. Here we go, Popstar. You still watching, Popstar? Throw your hands in the air, Popstar. Oh my God. Look, I want to tell you something about this. And every bit about that is wrong because you're conflating stuff. You have absolutely no freaking idea. It's guilt by association. And then that's just plain freaking wrong. But I'll put it up here because, that's what you said. None of that. This whole part about it. Disgusting old pervert pretending to be a woman. No, no, and no. No, and no. So let me just take the latter part of that part of it for you really quickly. The first part is just bullshit because you don't know me and I don't know you. And it's just asinine to do that, to say that. That's totally irrational. Okay. So here we go. I know, and this is going to be tough for some of my own people to understand this. I know that genetically my genes on a superficial level actually are X and Y. Sex of male, genetic sex of male. Okay. That's if you look at it superficially, that's what you see. That's what science has told us for the last, 50 to 60 or 70 years, something like that. But that's at a superficial level because those genes don't express that way fully as a yes, no, on, right, left, right, male, female kind of thing. They do for 99.5% of the people out there, but the 0.5%, that's not true. And if you start looking at how those genes express, I'm going to get kind of wonky here, okay, just in case you're not up to speed on science or whatever, but those proteins express not as on-off switches, but along a slider switch because there's all kinds of surrounding other genes and alleles that take place that make things happen less than an on-off switch way. But now here, just think about it like this. If all of our genes had expressed in a yes, no binary way from the very beginning, guess what? There would be no variability in humanity and all of us would look just like the mythical Adam and Eve. Without that kind of sliding switch in there, we would all look alike. Thank God we don't, right? There's variability in all of that stuff, in every bit of it. So I don't deny that. I don't deny that if you look superficially at my genes and my genetic history and my genetic makeup, you're going to find X and Y. You're going to find bone structure that had originated from the testosterone poisoning or the selection in utero that actually got me over into this place of actually having this body, but the mind being and the brain being female. They occur, those two things, the expression of anatomical sex and then the hormonal flooding of the brain occur in two different trimesters in utero before the child is born. For most people, they're connected. But for many others, it's not. And it's on a sliding scale. It's not click, click. You don't go on, off with it. No. Otherwise, we'd all look like Adam and Eve. And there would be no variation and no variability in humankind ever, which thank God there is, right? So anyway, Popstar, totally, absolutely bullshit right there. Let me put your next one up here. Preying on the vulnerable. Where? Are you vulnerable, pop star? Are you feeling threatened by me? Really? Funny. I serve so that you can believe crap like this, but to actually think and try to impose that kind of irrational behavior and thought on me because you just don't happen to like LGBTQ plus people or anyone who is different. I don't know what your race is, but I'm going to guess this kind of fallacious thinking actually extends to other areas and not just the fact that I'm trans. Right? Pop star. Okay. Let me go on down. Pop star says it again down here in a different one. You will burn in hell. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Well, let me tell you about hell. You ready? So let me see if I can pull up a screen here in the background and actually show you something. And I'm going to say this one again because I think this is hilarious. 3 Doors Down show. Let me drop myself out of the, turn off my camera. That might do it. Nope. I need to get that out of the way. Hold on. How am I going to put that in the background? Go down here. Settings. Virtual background. Let me go down and add one to it. I'm going to add something to this so that you can actually get a better perspective there. Pop star. And if you're a pop star, I mean, my gosh, good luck with that. What kind of music do you like to play and do? And what kind of musician are you? And I'm trying to find my images here. I've got some images I need to get up here. It would be a download, maybe. No. Okay, back up. We're just going to have a conversation right here, pop star. Hang on. Got to find that one, though. I'm looking for the 3 doors. Those 3 doors. Those 3 doors. No, it's not there. Desktop. Nope. Logos. I doubt it's in logos. Anyway, so I've got it on here somewhere. I just have to find the right one. Let me drop this down. And where is it? This is not that's a background. I guess if I take myself out of there, you won't be able to hear me. But anyway, so I've got this image that is 3 Doors of Hell, called 3 Doors of Hell. There's actually 4 doors there, which actually is appropriate given that it's you get what you get. You never get exactly what you think you're supposed to get. It's 3 doors of hell, but there's 4 doors. So here you are, pop star. You're standing in the doors of hell. You're standing in hell, and you get to select one of 3 doors. Guess which ones? But you tell me which one you want to go into. You got door 1. The doors are open. You can actually look in there and see and decide if I want to go into that door or that. That's where you spend the rest of eternity, pop star. And door number 1 is just water. You're underwater all the time. You can't die, so you drown and come back to life, drown and come back to life. You're in pain all the time. You're agony. You're struggling to breathe. You just can't do it. And the water is hot. And when you do get your head out of the water, it's just steamy hot, and you just inhaling hot steam. You go back under the water and you drown and you come back to life and you do it again, and then you do that over and over. That's door 1. And you just say, no, you don't want that one, right? Door number 2, though, is just fire and brimstone everywhere and sulfur burning, and you can see the skin on people falling off, and then they're in agony, but it's a perpetual agony. It goes on forever and ever and ever, and it never stops. And they wish they could die, but they can't, but they're suffering and in pain all the time. But over in door number 3, you've got a party going on. You got a band playing, you got music in there, you've got, your favorite drinks out there, and there's dancing carrying on, and just lots of good conversation. And you see that one, and people are just standing around in there or dancing or carrying, just having a good time, playing games, whatever, playing football or, or squash or whatever, but they're having a really good time in that one at door number 3. And you say, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that could be in hell. But sure enough, there's people in there. There's a lot of people in there. As a matter of fact, there's more people right there in that one than the others. So you say, I'm going in door 3. I picked that one. So you rush in there and you get in there and you can play your favorite games and listen to your favorite music and even play your favorite music. and all this kind of stuff. And you can go in there and do it and have a good time. And then you hear over the loudspeaker, "Brakes over, stick your head back down in the shit." Because that's what's under your feet. You just didn't see it. So then you realize, oh no, I just fell for all the glitter and gold and shiny stuff, and it looked like it was all going to be really good for me and all that kind of crap. But then you realize brakes over. And I'm talking about golden toilets, glittery stuff, lots of money. Fell for it. Yep, sure did. We're warned about it. I mean, there's actual written word over there that talks about that. You can go look it up for yourself. So door 3, brakes over. Now we're back to reality. That's what you got your head in. Let me see. There's one more comment. Let me find out. Bonjour. Okay. Somebody, this is from our Twitch account. Somebody said, bonjour. Well, hello. How are you? Where are you from? And all that kind of stuff. When you say bonjour, you could actually be from Canada or France, or you could actually be from down in the Cajun parts of the country, or you could just be someone who knows French or partially knows French. Anyway, hi. Glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. So just come on in and say whatever you want. If you say it in French, I'll have to translate it out, because I used to know, I studied French in high school. Actually, I studied 2 years of Latin in high school, and then took a year of French also in high school. And French was a piece of cake because obviously it's one of the Latin languages. It's a Romance language. So if you know some Latin, you're able to better understand the French and Spanish and Portuguese and stuff like that. It just gives you a better insight into all of it. But anyway, so yeah. But the French that I do remember, the French I remember is something that I actually created. I think, let me see if I can get this correct now. I go, c'est la vie en château en montagne. That means that's life in a chalet or a house up in the mountains. So, I made that up and I've stuck with it forever. That's about the extent of my French, except for bonjour and a few other things. You can see, if you can understand some words in French, you can actually get a general sense over in Spanish or anything else. It's really fun. That's me anyway. So anyway, now I want to close out with the last few minutes here. I do want to close out with my favorite part of the day, which is going after the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. If you're not aware of that thing, please go check it out. Let me just pull this page up for you. I'm going to try to switch cameras as well, so I don't have the glare in my eyes. But you can go over, and I'm going to do this with you here. We're going to share a page. All right. So hold on a second. Let me switch cameras. That way, well, no, that's fine. I'm going to be sharing right here with you anyway. So we'll stay here. We're going to click on that one. We'll click this. Okay. So this is the website for Project 2025. It's a presidential transition project. What are you applying for? You're applying to be one of their 20,000 people that they want to vet and train and be ready to step into the executive branch of the U.S. government if a conservative wins the election in November of 2024. And then on January the 20th, 2025, they raise their right hand and they say, "So help me God." Well, you're applying for one of those federal positions to step in there and work on behalf of the Heritage Foundation and conservatives across the country. But they are going to vet you, test, and make sure that you are capable of following their directions and that you can get a security clearance. So, I mean, you're going to have security clearances to go in a lot of this kind of work for inside the federal government. So, obviously, that's part of the vetting process. They're going to make sure you're conservative enough and human enough and natural enough to actually be able to get into it. Why am I using those words? Well, that's because it's in their policy. All right, that's exact. This whole project has got $22 million set aside from 70 different organizations, including the Heritage Foundation, to actually fund this, to set up their training academies, to go in and do this. You got personnel. Let me see. Let's see who's in here. Presidential personnel database. This is what they're looking for. Want to be considered for positions in the presidential administration? Submit your resume today to be included in the personnel database. They've been going out to county fairs asking people if they want to sign up. And they go to county fairs for a reason, because they expect that people generally who go there are, especially in the middle of the country, more conservative leaning than if they went to a farmer's market in New York City, or even a farmer's market down here in Alabama, for that matter, because a lot of those people aren't necessarily fully all the way over there in that red ditch, in the red mud down here, red clay in Alabama. So all you have to do is fill out that thing. If you think you qualify, you think you're ready to go work for the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025, go for it. Won't deny you that right, but I'm going to tell you, this is what they're doing. And they will tell you, look at this. Fill out the questionnaire. Go in there for inclusion in the 2025 Presidential Transition Project Talent Database. Where's ours over here? Where's ours? I mean, shouldn't we have one too? But no. We aren't that strategic. These people are. Project 2025 is the effort of a massive coalition of conservative organizations. 70 of them, as well as over 400 individuals, contributed to this consensus document, this Project 2025, this book that they actually put out a couple months ago. All right, so Project 2025 is being organized by the Heritage Foundation, which they've done this before. They actually thought they considered that last time, that the big time when they did it, they figured that as a failure. They counted it as a failure because they were only able to get about 60% of their goals accomplished during the first 180 days of President Reagan's presidency. But that was a failure, though, because they weren't able to accomplish at least 99%. This time they have a plan. Then all it was just a document. And Reagan bought into it and was able to help them get 60% of it. This time around, all the presidential candidates over on the conservative side, the Republican side, most have already agreed to Project 2025. Why? Because it saves them a heck of a lot of time. They don't have to spend months or weeks building out a team, vetting people right after the election. Now, Heritage Foundation has done the work for them, saved them time and money and effort and energy. And all they've got to do is just say, here, let me see your list. You got people vetted and trained. I need somebody over there in Department 3 of Agency F or whatever. That's what they're doing. So when that person raises their hand and says, so help me God, guess what the very first thing they do? One of the very first few things that they'll do, one of the top anyway, is make sure that Schedule F is implemented across the whole of federal enterprise. Schedule F makes all employment within the federal government at will, except for the military branches and certain other things. But all bureaucratic employees, for the most part, there's a level where it gets cut off, as if you are a GS 11 or something and up. Your employment is at will. I don't know if that's the actual number, but there is a number where they cut off. Anything below that, they're not really interested in, because you don't have enough influence to do anything. But they're going after the senior level. All right. So Schedule F, they wanted to apply to that. Trump tried to do that at the end of his administration, but Biden nullified it when he stepped in. But this new conservative president, all of them have already agreed to do all these things. So they'll implement Schedule F, and then the next breath, they'll go and write an executive order to remove all transgender people and gender diverse people and anyone that they don't like from the whole government. And then they'll also shut down all DE&I offices, all LGBTQ plus friendly spaces and offices, whatever they are, if it's in the Defense Health and Administration. I've got good friends over there concerned about whether or not they'll have their office or actually helping transgender people. And I've got friends over in NIH, National Institute for Health, the sexual orientation, gender identity offices that's doing research over there to kind of look at the social impact of health on LGBTQ plus people in the nation. And there is a measurable level of impact on the wellness and health and thriving of individuals like that. So those are social determinants of health. It's real. You can't, they are wanting to deny that. They pretend as if those aren't real things, but they are real. It's measurable, and we've known it for decades. But anyway, that's what they're going to try to roll out. So you can submit your application right there if you think you are one of those people that would fit in with this kind of ideology. And that's exactly what it is. It's an ideology. So let me go back up. You got training. I'm just going to go through this one for you. Presidential Administration Academy. Look, they've already got this stuff started. Apply to enroll. I mean, what you will learn, who should attend, program format, the time commitment. I mean, this is a detailed map of how they are going to make the whole of the federal enterprise look like them, whitewashed vanilla. That's what they want. That's what they're working for. Playbook. Over here, you got a 180-day playbook. In the first 180 days, I mean, I think Coach Tuberville over here, he loves this kind of description over with a little, oh, there's a strategy session. Oh my gosh. Time is short. Conservatives need a plan. And here it is. You got it. All right. There it goes. The fourth pillar is our 180-day transition playbook, which is this. And you got the about section about that, advisory board. Oh, let's see who's on the advisory board. Ready? Get involved. Advisory board consists of a coalition of 70 conservative organizations. They've come together to form the project's pillars. And you just go right down the list. Here we go. I mean, I'm sure these links are clickable too. If you probably clicked on one, you'd go there. Yeah, ethics and public policy. That's Ryan Anderson went over there. He's the person who went over there from Heritage. But Ryan Anderson has wrote books denigrating transgender people and trying to attack all the science and everything about who we are and all that kind of stuff. And then my friend Bryn has been after them. Has wrote some really good responses to Ryan Anderson and all that. So, but that's where Ryan Anderson is now, the Ethics and Public Policy Center. Oh my gosh. But I mean, Hillsdale College, I'm on their mailing list. Yeah. Yeah, sure am. Sure am. And yesterday I sent them a nice letter. I mean, I was polite and respectful. I just asked some questions about hypocrisy. So anyway, it's been an hour already. I'm going to shut this off over here. Let me drop that out of the way. I don't see any other comments over here. Pop star, come back in. Let's see if we can change your mind a little. Anyway, everyone come back at 6 Eastern tonight. I'll go back into a little bit more detail with that. The Project 2025 playbook. You can actually download a PDF. Don't go buy their book. They've got $22 million in Project 2025 already set aside to actually implement this whitewashing of the federal government. And Heritage itself, at the end of last year, had $265 million left over in their war chest. So you can guarantee that if they get a chance to do it, and we let them, and we don't stand up and point out all of this crap that they're doing, if we try to run and hide from this and pretend it doesn't exist, guess what's going to happen? Just as it says in the foreword, just as Dr. Roberts wrote in the foreword to Project 2025, the mandate for leadership, his words, not mine, we will be erased, deleted, excised from the whole of government, and that's their goal. So come back at 6 this evening or join me tomorrow at noon Eastern. And we'll have more continuing conversations about all these things. I may switch cameras in. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to do this camera thing. Hold on. Let me go up here and show you what I mean. I've got this camera, which is actually tied to my iPhone. And it has better quality. It's a lot better quality camera than the Logi camera that I have on top of the computer. So I've got that one. And which one do you like better? You got this. Let me see if it's up there right now. Yeah, you got that one. And you can see this thing. Oh, I got to tell you about this. This has got a lot of good stories associated with it. This was given to me by some amazing people. And when I was out traveling last year, they'd given me this little thing. And I'd been out to see a lot of our veterans around the country and a lot of our people who are supporters and providers and stuff last year. And this was given to me by Mel. I think that was Mel. Might have been by Monique. Has somebody forget who actually gave it to me now. But anyway, so I had people signing on it. I think it was Monique. Anyway, so people signed the little bear wherever I was at. I got to meet some amazing people. Monique's one of them. Renee and Mel and the whole family there. There are another bunch up in Tennessee. Monique and Rebecca and others up there in Boston, all veterans, all except Mel's not a veteran, but everybody else is. And so I got to meet them and Mickey Conger from out in the Midwest. I mean, all these are amazing, amazing human beings that I got to meet and actually engage with and get to know on face to face, because that's, to me, that's more important than just being a voice or a face on a screen. It's the personal interaction and the direct face to face personal interaction that actually is the most powerful. Really? I mean, exactly right. So let me put this back over here. And so anyway, with that, I just want to say have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay engaged, stay active. I do have one ask, that is to share this with others, wherever you may be. Share this with others so they can come back and watch. They can engage, whether they agree or disagree. I don't care. I'm not going to turn people away if you disagree, but I will definitely let you know that I disagree. So I'm not afraid of that kind of thing. Anyway, come back then, either noon tomorrow Eastern or 6 p.m. tonight, twice a day, every weekday, noon and 6 Eastern. With that, let me see if I can do this end the stream thing up here on the top. And we'll look in this camera because this one's better